Hey everyone, Don here from Unstoppable Life, and here is your Unstoppable Thought of the Week. So, this week's subject revolves around the discomfort of outgrowing yourself. Let's say it again, the discomfort of outgrowing yourself. So, have you ever noticed that sometimes the things that once fit into our life perfectly sudden doesn't really feel good or feel right anymore? Could be a routine, could be our daily habits, the conversations we have with people, even our goals, and even the version of ourselves currently, right now, that we've been carrying around for us for years, sometimes decades. And at first, this can be very confusing. And what I mean by that is we'll look around and we'll think, geez, nothing has changed. But deep down, something has. You have. I have. We all have. It's inevitable. We change. And that's what I want to talk about this week. The discomfort of outgrowing ourselves. See, most of us assume that growth should feel exciting, like all the time. It should feel liberating all the time. It should feel empowering all the time. And sometimes it does. But often, growth feels very uncomfortable long before it feels rewarding. Because our growth, that requires us to let go of things that once we believe defined us. They come from old beliefs, old identities, old expectations, old versions of ourselves. The challenge here is that we often try to hold on to those things because they're very familiar. And even when they've stopped serving us, and even when we've outgrown them, we try to hold on. Think about how many people spend years trying to become the person that they used to be. You know, the version of ourselves from, let's say, 10 years ago, or maybe even 20 years ago. The version that existed before life changed for us, before the responsibilities increased and stacked up on top of each other, before the setback happened, before our experiences reshaped us. Let me ask you this though. What if the goal isn't to go backwards? What if the goal is to understand who you are becoming now? Because growth doesn't always look like adding something new to it. Sometimes it just looks like releasing something old. You know, maybe an outdated expectation, maybe an identity that no longer fits for us, maybe a belief that no longer serves us. It may even be a path that no longer aligns with who we are becoming. And that process, my friends, can feel very uncomfortable. And it's not because there's something wrong, it's just because something is changing. So the truth is, many of us, particularly men, mistake discomfort for failure. I know I did that. I had a lot of discomfort, and I thought I was doing something wrong and I was failing. You know, I was assuming that something felt uncertain, that I must be doing something wrong. I found out something though. Uncertainty is often part of the growth. It's what happens when the old version of us no longer fits, but the new version hasn't fully emerged yet. So here's something to think about all of this week. And I'm going to ask you this quality question. I want you to think about it. What in your life feels uncomfortable right now? And another question on top of that is it possible that discomfort isn't a sign that something is wrong, but a sign that you've outgrown something? Sit with those two questions, because what feels like confusion today may actually be growth in progress. If today's message resonates with you, this week's edition of the Reset Letter, coming out on Thursday, explores what happens when your old life no longer fits and how to navigate the uncertainty that often comes along with it with our personal growth. Until next time, keep showing up, keep having honest, quality questions, and have a truthful conversation, especially with yourself.